Winnie was under a flood warning until this morning, 4 days after it started raining. Officials here tell me they can only estimate how many buildings were damaged by water because in places they are still waiting on the water to go down. The victims include a 2-month-old little boy. His bones crushed when his mother dove on top of him to save his life. She died inside this Walmart. Also killed Luis Juarez. He was 90 years old. The parts of the bomb left behind on this pavement, far from the only evidence picked up in this neighborhood. The people who live here tell me that police got a glimpse of Mark Anthony Condon. His SUV caught on camera.
Let's get right to Brett Buffington with what is happening now. Brett?
And Mia, tonight we'll start with some good news, and that is that the fire chief just came over and told us that they have this fire contained. But still now, almost 3 hours after this fire started, as you look over this fence, you can see the flames are still there. Firefighters, they're getting ready to go inside. Come back with me, though. I'll tell you in the last 30 minutes, here's what they did. They switched. You can see on the side of the road here, this foam. They started dumping that on top of this fire from up there above on that ladder truck. And that really is what put the end to that big fireball we have been watching. As you just said, though, this warehouse fire was big, almost 2 city blocks. And just on the other side of this building are homes. Take a look at this video. It's exclusive here on our air. We got here just as firefighters were going into one home and pulling out pets. Neighbors told me the lady who lives in this house, she didn't want to leave, concerned she was going to lose everything. And tonight, her house severely damaged by fire, as are 2 others here.
With the story you'll see only on KHOU 11 News. Brett?
Unbelievable, Mia, that this woman did not even go to the hospital to get checked out. She told me that she was fine. Amazingly, though, there were plenty of people inside this store when this happened. None of those people were hurt either. Behind that plywood patch right there, there is quite a hole. And people who were inside this store when this happened, they have quite a story to tell. And the good people here in this apartment community can get out of the heat and go back in to the air conditioner. This is over here on the north side. That's where we're live this afternoon. Brett Buffington, KHOU 11 News.
22 people died in Saturday's shooting rampage at a Walmart. Brett Buffington talked with residents who were shocked and saddened by what has happened to their community.
4 days ago, this shooting happened. This Walmart is still a crime scene, but it is the scene behind the store that is now so sacred. And for so many, it's where they're finding love for who they've lost. In this town that has been torn by terror, you might think words would be meaningless, but thousands are treading to this collage of comfort.
Can you double tape it? Yeah.
Where they found a sympathetic sonnet of peace.
Hug me.
What sentence could possibly share the feelings of a shattered and shaken town?
Because now it's scary to go everywhere.
Tears for what has happened, prayers for strength among the names of the neighbors taken. This mother,
Okay.
whose daughter is asking why. She was so emotional she couldn't share her story, so her friend gave us just a glimpse.
She was my best friend's mom, but she was like a friend to all of us too.
It's somewhat symbolic. Words taped to a rail is where you'll find El Paso healing, because hate didn't tear them down. This town is preparing for a visit from President Trump tomorrow, but tonight there's a petition online with people pleading with the president not to come here. The mayor of El Paso said yesterday the visit isn't political, and he'd do whatever it took to get this town help to heal. And you are absolutely right about that. The lake behind me tonight already at the 5th highest level it has ever been. And the quickly rising water here tonight, it has people's property being destroyed. The property they're being forced to leave behind. Deciding how much water to let out of Lake Travis. A balancing act by the Lower Colorado River Authority. Too much would mean more flooding downstream.
Here, Mark, let me grab it.
But in the balance, the quickly rising water here.
I mean, it came up 2 foot an hour.
Trent Chastain lives in Graveyard Point, his home raised above the record flood level. his neighbors is not. Today, this is how he saved what he could from his second floor. Lake Travis is 21 feet above full, and it's expected the water could rise another 8. And so where that mark is, what's the elevation?
710.25.
That's where the water could be by tomorrow. The level up 4 feet from this time yesterday.
You gotta accept what Mother Nature can deliver.
Ramsey Deeb's lake house was in the water then. By tomorrow, it will be under.
I always say I'll take a flood any day over a drought. And I've often wondered, would I say that sentence in the middle of a flood? And sure enough, I still do.
Well, they decided today to not open those extra gates on the dam that holds this water back. It's not out of the question that 4 more could open by the weekend. That itself would set a record, the most floodgates ever opened here at the same time. We're reporting live from Lake Travis this afternoon. I'm Brett Buffington, KVUE News. Devin Kelly knew he was in trouble when he was in that mental health hospital. When he took off running, he knew that he was facing charges for attacking a wife that we now know just 6 days earlier served him with divorce papers. 5 months later, Devin Kelly was in jail, the Brig, at Holloman Air Force Base. Attacking his wife and her 2-year-old son put him there. But in the divorce, it's simply incompatibility, written as the reason they split. Kelly was kicked out of the Air Force after serving a year-long sentence, but the Air Force says it messed up, reporting to the database that would have banned Kelly from buying guns. Now, the Secretary of Defense wants to know what else didn't get reported. He issued this memo ordering an investigation. We want to know more about this. During Kelly's 2012 escape, police trying to find him were told Kelly had been caught sneaking guns on the base, part of a plan to kill members of his chain of command. The threat was taken so seriously that when Kelly went missing, police called the Air Force Base as a warning. They called back when he was found at this El Paso bus stop with a ticket to San Antonio. Police, as they were searching for Kelly that night in 2012, were told by dispatchers that Kelly had bragged to other patients at that hospital that he had bought guns in the days before. It's worth noting tonight that Kelly also bought guns in 2014 and 2015, both of those purchases in Colorado, both of them illegal, and both would have been flagged had the Air Force done its job.
Brett Buffington is live off Sterlingshire right now. What's the latest with this guy, Brett?
Lynn, I can tell you in the last few minutes the tone of this conversation between the officers on the ground and the guy on the roof, who we now know, according to the loudspeaker, is Patrick Torres, has certainly changed. They've gone to a "it's in your best interest to come down" to now Patrick Torres, come down. Take a look at this video. Air 11 was over this scene when this started. This guy, he's been on this roof for 2 hours, and it is scorching hot out here. In fact, part of the negotiation that police officers are using here is trying to tell this guy, and as you look behind me, if you can come back live, they're going up there on the roof to get him right now. Just bear with us as you watch this live on TV. And officers are now chasing this man across the roof of the building, and they've been very concerned all afternoon. They just used a taser. The guy is now obviously in police custody on the roof of this building. They certainly have been very concerned that he might have a knife with him up there. That was the original call that got police out here this afternoon, and you can hear cheers in this apartment complex this afternoon. People out here, they are aggravated that this has been going on for 2 hours because they've been inconvenienced standing out in the heat, and that is part of what police have been using as a negotiation tool, is talking about the heat and talking about how this man has been inconveniencing his neighbors out here this afternoon. This all started around 1 o'clock this afternoon. This guy was called out here by police, or police were called out here on this guy because of a call involving a knife. They now are going to charge him with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, according to what the SWAT commander has told us. He also has traffic warrants, we've learned, out of League City. The good news here this afternoon, as you just watched happen live, police have now arrested Patrick Torres. He's coming off the roof where he's been for the last 2 hours, and the good people here in this apartment community can get out of the heat and go back in to the air conditioner. This is over here on the north side. That's where we're live this afternoon. Brett Buffington, KHOU 11 News.
We're live with it. Thank you, Brett.
The neighbor who gave that video to federal agents told me in the hours before, a 75-year-old woman on his street became one of Mark Anthony Condon's 8 victims. An SUV, just like the one Condon died in, turned around in the driveway next to his. The driver likely didn't even know they were on camera. This blast was big. The marks from the evidence left behind still labeled this street. The 75-year-old woman who set the powerful package off is still in the hospital. Esperanza Hope Herrera's family says she will be in rehab for months. Her knees are shattered. She's shaken. Her family thankful she's still alive. The parts of the bomb left behind on this pavement, far from the only evidence picked up in this neighborhood. The people who live here tell me that police got a glimpse of Mark Anthony Condon, his SUV caught on camera. Not just once, twice. Clips picked up by the ATF that show an SUV similar to Condon's coming and going from the neighborhood.
They didn't give us anything to lead to that vehicle. I mean, the only thing was they did say that other people had pointed out like a SUV.
When they asked, Heidi De La Fuente told federal investigators the SUV didn't belong here. And now, knowing how this ended,
we just knew it was that. We knew that had to be his car that they got on camera.
It's unclear how many other places cops caught Condon's car on camera. We know they got a clear picture of it here, days later when he mailed 2 more bombs. That same SUV they saw again in Round Rock, where 19 days of terror ended. Tonight, it's unclear if those investigators knew at the time the value of the video those neighborhood cameras captured. But one of those neighbors who gave his video to the police told me investigators told him they had no doubt the person in the SUV was who they were looking for. We're in Austin tonight. I'm Brett Buffington, KVUE News, Night Beat.